It often seems like there are reasons to leave our small town homes behind, both on a personal level and on a national level. We can watch these places fade away in the rearview mirror. I have spent much of the last 30 years creating large-scale public murals, working with and within communities throughout the world. And when the Pope came, I was crying, literally screaming, "This can't be happening." Typically, I am a visitor with a unique outside vantage. Here in Olean, it is entirely different. As I come to create this project, I am so much more than a visitor. This is my hometown. My sense of home here is so meaningful, so powerful. Now, as I paint this project, it seems stronger than the need to go bigger. Art can be a way of resisting the disappearance of homes, communities, and memories that comprise our beloved rural settings. I'm in my bed. This is the bed I slept in when I was a very, very young girl. I love this bed. I'm so grateful that it's still here. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to leave Olean for opportunity.
She's trying to find some Madonna. Hi, yes, could we get a bar? Okay, all right. One large ice water, small water, no ice. Okay, wait. Can we get one water with the ice on the side? Oh, don't forget and okay, can we get an extra, how about an extra large, one of those 44 ounces, ice water. That'll be it. Come on, let's get out of here.
So I did go somewhere bigger to start my art career. And who would have thought that one of the most meaningful projects I would have done would be right here in Olean? This one drew from the love and the loss of my dad.
The air is a mess.
Oh, what do you think this is, a beauty contest?
Yes. I didn't even comb it yet this morning.
Well, looks all right to me.
Every time I came home, it would be like, she paints for everybody else, and I've been waiting for that painting over my fireplace for 10 years. It kind of became the joke. He would just be sitting in the chair bitching. As with most things in Olean, the birth of the mural came about through a bottle of beer. I was sitting with my best friends. This I do a lot, still to this day. We all grew up here. I was being teary, like, oh, I never gave him his painting, and I don't even know who. I'm sure all of us think we're the ones who said it first, but I said, wouldn't it be a great idea to paint a mural here in Olean? And Paula Derwick, best friend for entire life, she said, I think we could make that happen. So we came up with this thing, like, let's try it. And who would have thought that it would be possible in 2022 in Olean to raise $100,000 for the supplies and the equipment and to pay the artist team to get this thing done. When I began a site-specific mural project, I want to know everything about that community. I begin by seeking interaction, stories.
Okay, so the interview's starting. Action.
Brush off your pants, because, cameras pick up everything.
No pizza on my beard or nothing?
Hopefully I'll look prettier the next time.
You have to edit this out.
Is it cool if I rest my arm here?
Yeah.
So I look relaxed.
I'm sorry. I needed to.
I did it to make you feel better.
You're looking gorgeous. They say sex sells, so that's why I brought you 3 here. So.
Our belly buttons need to be facing each other.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yes. Really?
Yeah.
Oh. No.
Van, you don't need to say no because it is a thing. My therapist told me.
Tell us who the heck you are, and where you live, and what you do, and what makes you happy and what makes you sad.
Well, that's a lot of questions all at once. I grew up in
Olean, New York.
Olean is
A city that's doesn't quite know where their future lies. There are people that love this community that don't know how they're going to stay here and support their families.
There's not a ton of opportunity here.
We don't have the industry we need to have.
That's the paycheck.
That's what keeps you here.
Yeah. Young people don't stay here. They go where the industry is.
The population in Olean is decreasing a lot. A lot since I graduated.
We're getting rid of elementary school. It's like we're combining because we don't need the space that we used to need. Like everything is just deteriorating.
The Olean Center Mall was a huge focal point when I grew up. When I walk by it, it just breaks my heart to see it. When you walk inside there, there's like 2 stores running. Things that you grew up doing is disappearing. Yeah, it's just like, oh, I remember this, I remember that. And it's gone now.
The word that historians would use to describe what's happened to Olean, and a lot of other towns like it, is deindustrialization. To understand deindustrialization, you need to think first of industrialization. In the 1820s, a lot of small towns began popping up in this area with mills and factories. Industries grew throughout the 1800s. In Olean's case, it was petroleum. And by the year 1900, machines were developed that enabled assembly line production and mass production. That process that built these towns and cities, it spurred economic growth that made the US the dominant country in the world. By the 1950s and 1960s, towns like Olean were the place to be. We felt like we were part of something bigger than ourselves. But that system didn't last long. Deindustrialization began in the 1960s and 1970s, and several factors set it into motion. One was the technology that was being developed that enabled companies to produce those goods with fewer workers. A second was the energy crises in the 1970s. Also in the 1970s, companies began to export their labor overseas, where they could pay lower wages and where they faced fewer environmental regulations. This is when Olean started to see population decline and infrastructure wearing out and public service declines. The city's largest factory let its final workers go this year in 2022. It's hard to describe to someone who hasn't lived in these areas the way that deindustrialization has completely swallowed these towns whole.
It was very difficult to seek and listen to people's stories here and not bump into an underlying sense of loss.
Dresser was always, that's the place to be. That's where real men work. That's how it really was growing up.
The job was rewarding as well,
The work there was amazing. No one understands the amount of knowledge that comes and goes that was in that place. Vector discs were my thing. I loved machining, ink, and all with ceramic tooling. That was me, and I was gonna leave, retire, die off that machine.
Every old guy always told us, Dad, this place will never close down.
We're never gonna close. That was always the story. They did it at the end of the day over a fucking widescreen projector. They set up these speakers. They told us over a fucking Zoom call that they were ceasing operations at the Olean facility. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Like, what am I gonna do? There's nothing in Olean. My wife made it easier on me. She said the whole, I'm not gonna leave you because you're losing a job. Well, I told her the last thing to ever go is going to be the house.
It was scary. The whole thing was It was scary.
I'm still machining on my machine at night, like in my dreams. Like it's burned into my brain. It's stuck with me.
Oh, I even miss like what the building looks like. You know what I mean?
I miss the smell that was inside.
Like, it's a different feeling.
You know, I can't keep living in the past. That's why I got my pictures. So if I ever need anything to brighten my day up, I'll show the guys at work. Hey man, look what we used to do at Dresser. You know,
It just makes you sad.
it does. It is sad.
If in Olean, if all there was.
Come in.
Thank you, Mimi.
Does my little sweetheart need anything?
I am trying to film and be a renowned thought leader on tape, and we have Mimi bringing me Irish soda bread to start my day.
Crazy.
Is this okay for the filming? The issues facing Olean today are very real. But if that's all that there was, I wouldn't be here. There's so much more.
What else is there?
That's really for the community to tell me and for me to discover. In the process of creating this work of art, no. Let me try this. To me, it's safety, home, community, family, landscape, good food, memories, and potential for the future. Go look at the wall.
We had an employment agency, and Mr. Johnson, he sent me to Tops, and I had, I think it was a quarter then, if I'm not mistaken, a quarter to go on the bus, and that's all I had. And so I got the job, praise God, I did the job, but I remember walking out of that store in my heels and walking all the way home because I had no money for the bus fare. I remember that, walking all the way home and just happy that I got the job.
And how many years did you work at Tops?
32 wonderful years. I didn't really work at Tops. I didn't really, not the way people think work. You know, we got paid, I think, on Thursdays. And I used to get to the middle of the park and I said, they're paying me for this. They're paying me for this. I had a ball. I had an absolute ball. Yeah. My challenge, and I loved every second of doing that, was making it so that when they leave my register, they're glad that they came today.
I work at this bar called The Halfway. And
I work up at the Halfway and too. We work there together.
They love us. They love us. America. Perfect. That's exactly what they want.
America is what they preach. Cameraman, does it have a lime?
I think
We shouldn't talk with the beer.
Olean is.
It's a small town.
It's a small town.
And because it's so small,
still,
you have to get together. Like the best thing to do is sit around a campfire, man.
Yeah, and like campfire, schmanfire. But like that's like the best part about it. You know everything about everything in my family, and it's like you still choose to hang out with me and still be like as close as we are.
My friend Jean, who you're named after, as you know, she died the night before we were going to college.
Do you want to talk about Jean?
Yeah, no. Not going there. We're just gonna paint right over that one. with the priming, you really feel this is the moment when we begin to bring all of these stories and characters to life.
This is a classic thing that happens in Olean when you date someone. I would go to her house, and then her dad would, put his arm around my shoulder and lead me into his bedroom and point at his gun rack and go, "I love my daughter."
And in my age, lots of times, if you had a boyfriend, he would meet you at the library at night. Both kids would say, "I got to go to the library to do some work." So he didn't do any work.
You can't go after a new guy or can't talk to a new guy because he's been with every other girl.
Yeah, oh God.
Well, it's a small community, I guess.
Yeah.
So we all know each other here. Right. So if you do something wrong, everybody knows.
I mean, every single thing that you do, someone finds out about, good or bad.
So-and-so's ex knows so-and-so's person knows so-and-so's cousin.
Yeah, oh my God, 2 times?
Their uncle hit their grandpa in the face.
Mr. Moore does.
No, he does not. He told me he did.
Every town has their fucking wackadoos, but we also have very prominent wackadoos that we
No, and we actually
cherish and love.
We have a couple crackheads that
like
we know around
our
town
community.
That are oh, you're cool.
Like our crazy makeup lady.
We love her.
Everybody loves her. She's beautiful. She goes a little hard with the makeup, strolls through Olean, but she's been there for years. That face goes away and you get sad.
Yeah.
You're walking down the street and you're like, oh my God, where the fuck is she?
There's another Olean famous woman who she's called Bag Lady. You've seen her, yes.
There was no Sweat Joe. You remember all these names?
So there were these 2 brothers, and they grew up in Olean, I'm pretty sure.
You could pay them to mow your lawn.
And they would drive a lawnmower around Olean.
They would go around and collect cans from the parks and shit.
You hand them their cans, Why put it in the grass? Put it together to them.
Recently, there was just one.
It's dead now.
He's died.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing. Everybody in this town's sad about that.
Yeah.
We had a whole ceremony for them.
Yeah, our job did something huge. We did a whole chicken barbecue for them. We raised $10,000.
Raised money for their family and everything.
That was, the nice thing of living in Olean.
Any small tragedy or accident that happens, our whole town is ready to look after that family.
All of these individuals having each other's back come together to create something really big. It's not unlike the mural. You have a grid. People always ask, how do you make something that big? It's all the little squares that come together and need each other to make the grid and to scale up that beauty and meaning.
Every Thursday, we had foot-long hot dogs on special at the Chuck Wagon. So one of the bankers called on Thursday morning and said fish is on a warpath. I said, why? He said, because he doesn't believe those foot-long hot dogs are 12 inches. I said, well, how long does he think they are? He said, they might be 10, 10 and a half, 10 and 3/4, 11, 11 and a half. I don't know. He said, I don't know, but he's on a warpath and he's bringing his tape measure. I said, oh, my God. Here we go. A lawyer coming with a tape measure to measure my foot-long hot dogs. So what I did is I took a foot-long and I hollowed out the end of it, and I took a regular, which is 6 inches, and shaved it down so that it would fit in where I hollowed it out. And when I cooked it, they actually melted together.
They did. It was.
So it was 18 inches long.
And then I picked up Don's and I set it down. He whipped out the tape measure and he said,
you sons of bitches.
He said, what, you tricked me.
You tricked me.
Oh, we have laughed about that forever.
How do you take all these crazy ass stories and begin to make one image out of them?
I was driving home from work. One time my dad was driving me to work.
We came down the farm road to our house, and
The deer hopped the guardrail. And it like launches like right in front of me, like in slow motion.
Out of literally nowhere. It looked like a goddamn cartoon.
Its leg got sucked under the back tire, and I watched its back femur like snap.
and I took a picture of it, and I was talking to it for 15 minutes till the DEC guy came to put it down.
Killing that animal was the worst. I used to hunt back in the day, but I regret every minute of it.
When I woke up the next morning, all the gasoline from my car was out in the driveway because the deer, whatever, had punctured a hole in the gas tank.
This is leaking, and it's where the oil goes, and my liquid is leaking here, and that's the fluid for the engine. And
mural that's going to be on the Liberal Arts Building. I don't we do.
for community involvement, we do the paint by numbers on the sheets, and we put the sheets up with an adhesive onto the wall, the four sides of the mural. Totals 10,000 square feet. Each sheet that we're actually painting today is only 30 square foot. So they're like a zoomed in version of the painting itself.
That is a plaid shirt. And that right there is a pair of blue jeans.
So if you go to that back tables, they're going to give you a cup of paint with a number on it and a paintbrush.
And whatever number is on your cup, that is what number you paint. It's kind of like paint the numbers.
It's interesting because this will actually last longer than just paint on the wall.
That was him.
So it's like it's really like industrial strength.
The dark green is in the yellow postcard, and they'll circle the area that you painted, so you'll be like,
Yep, that's exactly what they're painting.
That is awesome.
Yep. And then the other portions, we do just paint directly onto the wall.
This used to be the Olean tile plant, and the Olean tile plant was a big industry here. Back in the day, they used to just dump a bunch of tile here in the river.
These tiles from the river are actually going to be on the mural.
A whole new generation is coming home and reclaiming parts of the industry that are long gone and putting their twist and stamp on it. They're taking it one step further than those that were here before. In their own right, those people were artists. I mean, they may have seen themselves as only factory workers, but they were creating tiles that would go on to decorate people's homes all across the country.
it was exciting to me to think that we could kind of breathe a little life back into this area because there's been so much sort of loss. The best thing I can do is like make a place where kids can come and express stuff, get stuff out, and it gives them joy. And that's something I can do.
I also believe in the power of placing people directly in the path of beauty.
Bringing a project like the mural to Olean, a kid's gonna walk over, like just today I watched a child, the father was like, my kid is doing a project for school, do you mind if they take some pictures of the wall while you're working? When I was a kid in Olean, if I saw an artist working on something, then immediately go, oh yeah, that's something you can go do. I didn't know that was a possibility, and that's a pretty big deal.
I've been painting for over 30 years and nothing has been like painting in this place where I was born, my wonderful hometown.
Olean would definitely be a place where I would rather raise a child than anywhere else.
Why is that?
It's home.
Olean is home. It's home. It's all I've known.
Olean is home to me.
It's home though, for sure.
It's definitely home. Olean is home.
No matter where I've gone or where I've been, it's always nice to come home.
In creating the image for the mural, I was struggling. Is it about heralding the past and honoring these memories? Is it about looking forward to a bright future? And then being here and talking with people, I was overwhelmed with this feeling. Perhaps we have everything we need here, right now. A famous poet lived right here on this very mural site. His name was Robert Lax. He wrote,
Lax, sometimes we go on a search and do not know what we are looking for until we come again to the beginning.